Hello, my name is Anna Freundt, and I am here today to talk about the transportation options at North Carolina State University. Today I'll be talking about the current situation, the current options and issues with those options, as well as a couple proposed solutions for those issues, including the schedule and budget, as well as the recommendations for the presented solutions and issues. NC State has a large campus population of nearly 40,000 people, while 80% is nearly students and 20% is nearly faculty. But the majority of faculty are able to purchase a parking pass, while only a third of students are able to do so. And while NC State has some alternative transportation methods, only about 8% of the campus population knows about those and utilizes those opportunities. As shown on the histogram, there is a larger student population than faculty population at NC State. And although there are about 4,000 more parking passes issued to students than faculty, there are nearly 23,000 students that do not have the opportunity to purchase a parking pass, opposed to nearly 2,000 of faculty. And while if there were 24,000 more parking spots on campus, not everybody would buy a parking pass, there's still a fair majority of students who would buy a parking pass if the opportunity was available. One of the main transportation methods available currently is the Wolf Line bus system. It predominantly transports students between main campus and Centennial campus and across the two campuses themselves. There are a couple of routes that go outside of the campus, but that is not the main goal or focus of the bus system. It does help a few students out, but it does not help the majority of the student population out. Another main method is parking permits. As mentioned before, there are about 20,000 on campus as a combination of employee, resident, commuter, and visitor. Students can either have a resident or commuter pass depending on where they live. There are also other alternative methods offered by the university, such as carpooling or share the ride, but many of them are not known. I asked a couple fellow students whether or not they'd heard of some of these, and they had no idea that they existed. Many students, their main methods of transportation are either the bus or a parking pass, and they don't know about anything else. And I think that's one of the main issues with the current transportation options available at the university. One of the main transportation issues at NC State is that there are not enough parking spots for its campus population. This map shows most of campus and a lot of the parking lots and decks available on campus. The yellow circles are the proposed locations of potential parking decks. I think one of the ways to solve not having enough parking passes is to build a couple of parking decks in existing parking lot locations. Building a parking deck will allow for more parking spots to be available in the same locations that there already are. No need to buy any more land, no need to figure out where they're going to go. There's a current spot for them. The yellow circles, they're in different parts of campus, and they would allow for either more resident or commuter passes, or potentially employee if that's what the demand needs. This table shows some predicted numbers of how many spots would become available if parking decks were built in the proposed locations from the previous slide. If there was one built next to Wood Hall, there could be potentially 300 spots opposed to just 100. Those spots would be for residents, but they would then allow for those previous spots that they were parking at to be used for either faculty or commuters. Resident storage could add a potential of 400 spots opposed to the current 300 that there are now, and it'll give a few extra to some residents as well as commuters to Centennial campus. As well as West Lot, that could add some spots for commuters, and Burgaw add some for either commuters or residents. In total, it would add about 1,300 parking spots to the current number available to the campus population. The main advantage to this solution is adding 1,300 parking permits to campus. This could be used for faculty or students depending on where they're built and the need. But overall, this could lead to at least an 11% increase in the student parking permits issued currently. The major downside is that construction, as the proposed decks will take place of a current parking lot, the number of parking spaces available during construction will decrease. The ideal time for parking deck construction is over the summer. In order for that to happen, the details for the construction need to be finalized during the spring semester, ideally in March, so that there's still time to tweak a couple of details if anything changes. And doing the construction in the summer will help alleviate some of the issue with taking over current parking lots to build the parking decks. Overall, it will cost a fair amount, but in the long run, it'll be worth it. Another solution is to increase the awareness of the alternative transportation methods. As mentioned before, most students don't know about them. They could really help alleviate some of the issue with the high parking permit demand. One way to do this is to put up flyers throughout residence halls, student centers, and academic buildings to raise awareness of these alternative options. Another way to raise awareness is to send out emails to the campus population so that they're aware of these methods before they attempt to purchase a parking permit. Another solution could be for the transportation office to put up a transportation info table in Tally or in the Brickyard as students walk by and they can answer questions about potential options. Some advantages to increasing advertisement is that there'll be increased awareness. More students will take advantage of these alternative methods, maybe increasing the budget for those and improving those programs. It will also decrease the demand for parking passes. But it does come with some costs. There will be costs for advertising to create the flyers, manpower to do so, and etc. Overall, this solution does not have as much of a burden as constructing parking decks. Advertisements need to be created. The ideal time would be finish that by the end of the spring semester. To send an email out with this information to students right around the time parking passes are to be purchased for the fall semester. Post flyers in the residence halls, in the student centers and academic buildings, etc. at the beginning of the semester for students to see throughout. Sending another email in October or November about the time they purchase spring semester permits so they know of these other options. And posting flyers, different flyers for the spring semester. Overall, this budget is much lower than the parking deck budget as it's mostly just printing paper and ink, and there also may be some labor costs associated with the students who create these flyers. As seen, NC State has a lot of options for transportation, but not all of them are known, as the main option known to students is using the bus line or parking. There need to be more parking spots available. As the campus population grows, so will the demand for parking passes. So constructing some parking decks over the summer to increase the number of parking permits is definitely a viable option. Increasing the awareness of the other programs available by the university will also alleviate the demand for parking passes and also enable more students to get to campus more easily. Thank you.